If you're a dog influencer, you want to make sure that you're staying on top of what's happening in the industry right now so that you can pivot, change, and reconstruct what you're doing to make sure this is still a profitable space for you. So, whether you're just jumping into dog influencing now or you're an established entity in the industry, we're going to be talking to Colleen Wilson. She owns a pet influencer agency and just opened up a marketplace for people like you and me to get jobs and to acquire those connections to work with different brands and different companies for brand deals. And she's going to break down what specifically she is seeing in the industry right now as people are looking for dog influencers. So these are the things that she is seeing as she's working with companies and helping to negotiate and broker these deals. And this is information you can use to help grow as you are getting into your pet influencing. Let's jump in.
Hi, I'm Colleen. I'm the founder of PetsonQ, letter Q. We help animal talent, we're an animal agency, book jobs from influencing, animal acting work to content creation and everything in between. We also we have a public marketplace for people to run kind of their own agency and do it themselves. That is called The Animalist. We just launched it this year. Super excited. We've had a lot of animals book movies and different jobs with brands and all that. But yeah, that is me. And I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to talk with you because you have your finger on the pulse of everything in the world of dog influencing. Now, you don't just focus on dog influencing, but you get to see so much of it with the people that you're working with and the companies that you are working with. And so I want to talk a little bit about what you're seeing in terms of what companies are looking for and what dog parents can do to give themselves an edge to get those UGC content gigs, to get those different commercialized pieces of content and those brand deals. So what are you seeing companies looking for? What are they asking for right now?
Oh, it's such a big question because every company's kind of looking for something different. So like an REI might want an outdoorsy hiking dog, but then the next week they might want an outdoorsy hiking cat. Like you don't know what people want, where a Furbo might want an indoor beautiful photo, whereas a Purina wants someone who can create really authentic content. So really depends on what each brand's looking for something different. And one brand might say like, I don't want any golden retrievers this time. Like we hired 10 golden retrievers last time. We don't want any more. It's like, don't send me any of those. So it could be breed specific, type of species specific, the type of content that you're creating. It could be your engagement, the quality audience that you have. A lot of brands are really shifting over to making sure you can convert for them and you have ROI. So making sure there's no fake followers, that you're not in pods. They're doing a lot more research on the data now. We have analytics that track our influencers. We have rostered over 20,000 animals. So animal talent, and it's just crazy. So we really do help a lot of brands, production companies, anyone looking to hire animal talent. I think the entire industry is making this massive shift right now, and it's needed, which is fine. And we're all adjusting. Sorry, my dog is not liking that fast. But yeah, did that answer the question? I'm going on a tangent now.
No, that's fantastic. I love that it is kind of shifting. And you mentioned that brands are very specific when they are looking for the different content creators that they're going to be working with. And sometimes they will say they don't want a specific breed or they do want a specific breed. In terms of them looking for different types of dogs specifically for this channel, what do you see when it comes to them picking specific breeds? Are a lot of these companies saying, I definitely want the popular breeds, they don't, or they do want some of those more unique breeds? Or is it just kind of a blanket, most of them will take whatever's going to work?
A lot of brands, I would say, are very PG. So they don't want the controversy all the time of a doodle. I don't really get requests for doodles too much. Yes, brands hire them, but like if someone's looking for breed specific, it typically is like one of the athletic breeds. So pointers, Dalmatians, like, any athletic type breed. Or they want a brachial dog. So bulldog, pug, Frenchie. They will pretty much steer away from the poorly bred type thing because they don't want to be, they can't really use that content because then they'll get negativity on their brand.
Yeah.
So they do steer clear of a lot of that. And honestly, I've been doing it for 10 years. The requests for doodles have come from like a production. I really don't, I expected much more, but we don't really see it. Frenchies, that request has gone down a lot. But overall, I would say sometimes it's like they'll have something specific. Like I need someone that has grass in their backyard for this shoot.
Right.
Like for the product looks really well on grass. So if people don't have grass, we can't hire them.
Yeah.
Like you're really sometimes are very odd requests. Like they need to have, we've had the request of that they need to have a specific type of homeowners insurance. Nothing to do with the campaign. Like the campaign was something
Yep.
different. Or they had to have carpet in their house.
Okay.
Like, so they had to have a house full of carpet and it was for a job to like renovate their house. So it was a cool campaign, but don't know. So it really just depends on the brand. I think most of them gear more towards the quality audience that you have. Okay. And the quality audience is like your follower count, but taking out the pods, the fake followers, and people that are actually converting sales. Like that's what the brands want.
Right. Sure. And I really like that you pointed out a lot of times it's about the environment, it's about the locations, not necessarily about the specific dog or the breed of dog or even the dog parent. So, for people who are maybe just starting to get into the world of dog influencing, who are just starting to create the content that they're going to be using as their examples, do you have any advice for being well-rounded and showing what you have and representing what access you have to things like grass and mountains and carpet and all those things to make sure that you're giving this the proper
just being authentic on your page, because those things will come up. And if you're authentic on your page, and like for the grass campaign, like every influencer that applied, they wanted us to go through their page and look, like scroll just for a little bit. And if there's no grass on that page, we move on to the next one. So the people that had a really green page, that their content was quality around that, it's never the influencer's fault. It's like brands can be very specific to what they need and what they want. Yeah. And I think if you don't get selected, you just have to move on to the next one. Like it's like we can have a campaign that 100 to 400 people apply on and they wanted 5 people. And they're like, oh my God, there's too many people. So they're nitpicking the budgets. They're nitpicking the percentages of engagement and the follower count. And that's what they can do because there's so many influencers now that are applying for these things. And I would say if you're trying to get into it, like just showcase and be authentic and work on your audience, because you're able to get more and build more. If you're posting content that when you like to post, it's going to attract brands. Work on the quality of content that you have, work on like having fun with your pet, or not just pet. Like if you're an influencer, do something that you enjoy, because it's not a job if you enjoy it. Then the brand deals will come. Don't post every day for the brand deals. Like that's what a lot of influencers do. And I would say don't, like the ones that we're attracted to, they're doing it for fun.
So when it comes to brands looking at and deciding on which creators they are going to be working with, do you find that they're allowing these creators to kind of represent themselves to say, yes, I can do this and this and this and send in particular types of content? Or are they just going through and actively just searching their TikTok and their Instagram and their YouTube pages to see what their content is like? So are we able to more self-represent ourselves, or is it really truly just based on what we're already posting?
I do think that a lot of brands go with the partnerships they've done before, because every brand we've worked with, they'll come back and say like, hey, like, do you have this kind of influence? Because they just know, like for the pet space, they know we have a big roster. So we can go through that roster and send them the different options and send them what their pricing is. And then they'll say like, I want to work with XYZ. And they'll go through it that way because that's easier for them, because it saves them a lot of time. Going online is really time consuming for them. And it can take someone days and days and days to do that, when they could just contact someone and have them do it for them. For free. Like that makes it so much easier for them. I mean, that's kind of why we built the Animalist, to make it easier for brands to go around the searching and just searching very specifically for people. So like if you need a golden, you can type in the search thing golden and find 20 goldens right now. And I think that a lot of brands that I've spoken to, they're so excited about it. And they're like, oh, I placed a casting call. Like there's a lot of really cool casting calls. If you're interested in that, like I would recommend using it right now, because there's a lot of brands looking and we don't have that many influencers on it. We haven't moved our whole roster over. We only have like 500 listings instead of like thousands. And a lot of brands are looking to hire people. So I would definitely recommend doing that right now. I will say that I see the importance of having an agency, but a lot of people can do it themselves. And I think there's pros and cons to that, because a lot of brands will go to an agency to do it, but that's what I see, and I'm biased because that's what I see. right?
Right. Sure.
But my pet is an account, and I have an account, and brands do reach out to me too.
Yeah.
I think that there's something that goes along with that includes some professionalism of like, oh, they know how to do it. I'm more likely to work with them
Yeah.
because our success rate's really high, as opposed to a lot of other influencers that isn't very high when it comes to those one-on-one jobs.
Right.
And I would say, but there's still brands that are doing that. Like there's still brands that are searching online. So I'd say you can do both. I mean, that's also kind of why we develop the animals, because it's like you can do it yourself and it includes legal terms. So you can guarantee that you're going to get paid if you do the job, which is the number one issue that influencers have. So terms are built in to protect them and they'll get paid. And for brands, same thing. Terms are there to protect them.
Right.
And they know that the talent won't be paid until the job's completed and they say it's completed. So it works on both ways. And like that's,
Mhm.
yeah. I don't mean this to be an ad about it, but like those issues are like
It's
why I
important
developed
though.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It took a long time to do it. And like I'm really proud because it's like finally here. So
I'm
yeah.
excited that it's here.
Yeah, it's fun. It's been good. Still working through the kinks and the little glitches before we do like the formal hard launch. But yeah.
But
It's
now's
been
a great time to jump in if that is something that you are leaning into. If you are looking to be a dog influencer, now is a great time to kind of jump in those early stages. And I want to talk a little bit, Colleen, about some of those turnaround times and the time frames, because we were talking about how companies go through agencies because it saves them time and effort. They don't have to go scrolling through the massive internet to find things. So when these companies are working through agencies like you, or if they're going directly to our influencers, what are we looking at in terms of turnaround time? Are they giving their influencers a month to create content? Are we seeing things within like a week or two? Or are they actively looking for a very quick turnaround time?
it depends on the company, depends on the brand. I would say the bigger brands, longer turnaround times. They give more time because they understand that they have legal hoops to jump through and they're going to put you through those hoops. And that's why they pay more
Yep.
because they know like it's, the Disneys of the world, the invoices are 365 days out. So you're not getting paid on that job for a year.
Yeah.
All the way to like I would say the average that we see is 4 to 6 weeks for a campaign. And that's from selecting them, shipping the product, getting the product, creating content, posting, like scheduling a date and posting content and having enough time for analytics. So it kind of gives you like weeks in between. But I would say the average campaign is 4 to 6 weeks. But there are some that are much longer. There are ones now that they're shopping out for the fall.
Okay.
There are other brands that want a turnaround time in days.
Right.
Yeah. So like for me with the animal says we're actively looking for UGC creators and influencers like micro nano influencers. If I'm sending this to someone, they can turn it around in days because it's a platform. I don't need to ship product. I don't necessarily need the crazy analytics because I have a platform that can track all that. Do I want to see it from them? Yes, but I don't need that. So that can be much shorter. So I'd say it really depends on the brand. There's some that are like, I want this done in 2 weeks. And you're like, well, that doesn't give them enough time to create good content for you. So you want to, it just depends on the brand. 4 to 6 weeks is the average. My long turnaround, I got there 4 to 6 weeks.
And I think it's really important to also remember with turnaround time and with the content you're creating, a lot of that is going to be negotiated within the terms of the contract. So whether you are going through an agency like the Animal List or you are doing this on your own, you have to make sure that you will physically have enough time to get products in, film the content, edit the content, and return it to whoever you're working with or however it's going out on the internet. And that's going to be part of the contract, and you don't want to shortchange yourself on that time frames.
And I'd say people need to review contracts really, really specifically. And also, I don't want to be, I think I was confusing in saying something. So PetsonQ is our agency and the Animal List is like you can do it yourself as your own agent.
Gotcha.
So that's like our marketplace that's public and free to use. And the roster is PetsonQ, that's our agents. And that's my bad for the way I said that earlier. So.
But that's always why we research these things. We make sure we are looking on the internet, how things are working. You're going to their social media platforms. You're talking to people who are using those platforms so that you understand how it's going to best serve you and how you're going to best serve the potential contracts that you're going to get through that. So making sure you do your research is always incredibly important for any entity that you're working with in your influencer journey. So before I let you go, Colleen, I do want to give you the opportunity to let us know what are some of the big takeaways that dog influencers that are currently working in dog influencing and new creators who are just kind of jumping into it. What are the couple of big things that they need to be mindful of as they are working in this industry?
I think people that are jumping in now are actually at an advantage. And my reason for that is that they don't necessarily know what was happening in the past, and they're less biased to what you're going to get out of it. People that were in it in the past, especially through COVID, that were making a lot more. And with the industry changing, I think it's harder to change than to start. But obviously, they have a bigger audience. They could be OGs in the industry. I would say get a really good media kit and case study, or we call it a pet folio. We call it a pet folio on the animals. It like showcases all of that for you. But yeah, I would say just make sure you're really transparent with brands, that you are able to prove what you do in sales, what you've done in the past, some really good success stories that you've had, and don't lie about it. Because things we've gotten from some people, like they don't realize we track analytics, and
Right.
that people have lied on that, and it instantly puts them on our blacklist. They're like, oh,
Right.
they lie about this, we're never going to work with them again. Like
Yeah.
this is when I see your engagement rate is 1.4 and you send it to me at 28% engagement. Nope, like that, then I can never trust you. It's a really transparent industry. Like you have to have trust when working with you. Like, how do I know you're going to get the job done? So I would say like you just have to be transparent. You have to be honest. There's so many jobs and it's so fun, especially working with pets. So like it just is great. It's a great industry to be in. So I would say that new people, they're at an advantage right now.
I love that. When it comes to creating our pet folio, should we be leaning heavily into photos, videos, or a combination of both?
Combination, because some brands might want photos, some brand might want videos. You can display both in listings with us. So like I would say like the photos and videos that you typically create, you can showcase other ads as well, and we call it a reel, call it a reel in production. So for like an animal actor, we're showcasing the headshot of the animal, like a close up of that. We're showcasing the profile and a body shot of the animal, because that's what producers want to see. And then they want to see the trick list and the different jobs that they've done in less than 30 seconds. So it's like boom, 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 boom. Like you got to get through it really quickly. And if you're overdoing it and you're doing maybe a 10-minute, people are not going to be watching the whole thing. You want to keep it short, concise. And then for photos, I would say people want to know what the animal looks like, what your content is about. So being able to display that in the easiest way possible is highly recommended. Yeah.
I love that. And making sure that we have everything ready to go, making sure we're representing ourselves to the best of our ability is really going to help us to thrive inside of dog influencing. And so if
Yes.
you have questions on this, now is a great time to drop them. Colleen, we're going to try to get back for some upcoming episodes. I would love to have her here for more discussion. So let us know what you want to know from Colleen down below. And as always, you can reach out to Colleen on her social media. Colleen, where can everybody find you online?
On TikTok, it's Colleen Wilson POQ. That's for PetsonQ POQ. And then you can also go to PetsonQ or the Animalist on that, all of the across social media. So we're kind of everywhere there for PetsonQ with letter Q. And the Animalist, yeah.
Drop your questions down below. We do have playlists on how to navigate the world of dog influencing, but over on the main channel, we also have full playlists on how to navigate the world of influencer life and content creator life. So I will link all of those things down below. And Colleen is going to be coming back to actually walk us through the process of using the Animal List, her open marketplace for influencers like you and me to connect with brands and to get those different paid sponsorships. And we're going to be taking a look at exactly how to use the platform. So when she comes back, she'll be answering all of your questions. Now is the time to drop them. We also have daily videos helping you navigate the world of being a dog parent. So now is the time to help yourself level up for your pup to give them the best life possible while making it as easy as possible for you. We'll see you in our daily videos.